All right. Let's try and do a show. I really don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay level-headed with all this. I've sworn since the beginning of the season really not revisit those same emotions from 1994 until they got to Game 3. But after that, how do you not? Let's crack a beer first. I gotta take the edge off. I'm sorry if you're watching this on replay. Just skip ahead like 30, 35 minutes. I hit the button as soon as the final buzzer goes off, and I gotta think of what to talk about. I'm really not ready. Where to start? By the way, this was a joke. We put this up after the Knicks won that game down 2-1 against the Atlanta Hawks. And I thought this chain would just bring us luck, and we haven't lost a game since. It is never moving from that spot. Maybe you guys can provide some inspiration in the chat. I really don't know how to put it. I don't know how to speak English. I don't know how to put that into words. I need another sip. Hold on. I can't. All right. I need something stronger than this. Sorry, that's 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I haven't said a word. I'm trying to think of how to do a show right now. Tell us your heart. It's the first chat I just... No, Adrian says I look depressed. I'm not depressed. I'm more... I feel like Wemby going into the halftime locker room. Just shell-shocked. While remembering there's still 2 games to play. And considering what they're about to walk into in Game 3, I'm not naturally pessimistic. I'm more cautiously optimistic, but some people perceive that to be pessimism. And I'm worried about the Game 3 atmosphere at the Garden a lot. Not that the Knicks haven't played in front of a raucous crowd before, especially this group, but with Trump in the building, the team knowing that if they win Game 3, they statistically, historically, are going to win the NBA championship. The way that they have recovered in the past 2 to 3 years, after facing every form of basketball adversity possible, I have watched this team go down by double digits and come back like they did tonight more times than I can count. There was a time back in December and January where their defense was so apathetic that do you remember the week with the New York media where they were calling to blow up the team, fire Mike Brown, give him the David Blatt treatment, and trade for Giannis right now, trade Karl Anthony Towns, who's probably going to win Finals MVP? There was a full week of calls for that. We had multiple player-only meetings. And if you want me to say what's in my heart, it's that I'm strangely not surprised. It's the biggest compliment that I can give these guys. I have this weird sentiment of reinforcement flowing in my veins right now, and maybe that's also some of this beer. Nothing surprises me about them. You heard Karl Anthony Towns' interview. The last thing I heard him say, it's so fucking powerful. Did you hear him say basketball kept him alive? Basketball kept him alive because of his mom passing from COVID. And I remember when he was sitting at the end of the bench in Minnesota and he couldn't get up to participate in the player introductions. And like for him to say that so stoically after what we just witnessed there, it inspires me to remain as level-headed as this team has been through all of it. It is a team of resilience, representative of the blue-collar basketball that this team's branding was built on in the 90s. From Xavier McDaniel to John Starks to Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. Like, they've always been the hard hat, lunch pail, and shovel team. But now that they have the star power and have built the roster organically plus strategically, I think if this wouldn't be possible unless we endured what we did with RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and the Emmanuel Quickley teams. Watching his son cry in the Barclays Center concourse, Julius Randle's kid, because he just couldn't hit a final shot to save his life. He just couldn't be the best player on a championship team. Great, very good player, not great player, very good player. But between Randle, Barrett, and Quickley, helping to rebuild the Knicks' relevancy and blue-collar basketball style, where they had just spent the last 2 decades trying to assemble a team of mercenaries like the Golden Company and of Game of Thrones, and thought they could just put that on the floor, when the answer this entire time was the very ethos of how the franchise was built in the first place. It was Randle, Barrett, and Quickley that put us in a position to go make a trade for OG and Anunoby. And we've all seen the regular season statistics from him. And I'm talking about the team's win-loss record. The fact that we were able to get him on our team doesn't happen without building, believing, returning from COVID, that game with Obi Toppin, RJ, and Randle against the Atlanta Hawks in the Garden. Like, none of this is possible unless we created our own luck. The Knicks fall into a collective bargaining agreement situation where the players somehow, some way agree to include the second apron, and it forces the Minnesota Timberwolves to trade Karl Anthony Towns because Glenn Taylor wanted to sell the franchise. And not only did he regret that move, he regretted his own sale so bad that he tried to tie up the purchase from Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry in court for 2 years because the valuation had doubled by the time his case was over. How the stars aligned. You couldn't sell the team if Cat was still on the roster and the team was in the second apron and you owed a luxury tax bill of $250 million. That they agreed to make that trade. That does not happen unless Julius Randle puts himself in a position that you can justify and validate that transaction in the first place. I'm thinking of Tom Thibodeau today. I'm thinking of Tom Thibodeau, who spent 3.5 years putting our Iron Five of a starting lineup through the equivalent of a military boot camp. Watching these guys play 44 minutes a night against the Utah Jazz in January. And while there was certainly some diminishing returns, those very seasons with their ability to close out games against good teams in the playoffs after treating regular season games as if they were the finals. This team, once again, has been through every form of basketball adversity possible. They were tested mentally and physically for 3 years under Tibbs. And now that the team has some bench depth of which they feel comfortable going to, it must feel like a walk in the park. I don't think the Knicks are here without Tom Thibodeau stretching these guys as far as they can possibly go. Let's remember that Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls did not have Phil Jackson as his first coach. It's just insane to me, the sequence of events that had to occur to get us to this point. And almost a disappointment in myself for blinding my sight to it all and not being able to enjoy it along the way, because Knicks fans that are millennials were alive for the 90s, and that's why I'm a Knicks fan in the first place, are still so damaged by the 94 finals that you want to remain apathetic. And even though you deliver the hypothesis on night one of the regular season, when I tell you the Knicks are going to win the Eastern Conference this year after seeing that first game, believing it and investing in it are two different things. So when I see that question, the only chat that I've seen thus far, because it's just going to be distracting me, I'm sorry, guys. So when I see that comment that says, tell us what your heart thinks, I feel a sentiment of regret that I did not enjoy the process more. Because now that the result is here, it's pretty hard. Really fucking hard, man. But we're not there yet. Let's talk about this game. First thing, I'm just going to say things that come to my mind. I don't have any structure for this show. I'm fucking emotional. The first thing that comes to my mind, I can't get it out of my head. In a weird way, I want to defend the referees for what happened on the Luke Cornett kickball. I don't know why. It's the first thing that's in my brain. I'm sorry. There was 5 guys surrounding Luke. You can't expect the referees to call that a kickball. Richard Jefferson on the broadcast was like, that was a kickball. That was a kickball. I'm like, yeah, it was a kickball. How the hell are they supposed to see it? They don't have the luxury of a 1080p instant replay from the baseline. They're standing all around the floor. And OG Anunoby was so close to retrieving that. It was off his fingertips. I think of the Jalen Brunson before it. The Jalen Brunson pass from his inbounds play, where he just simply takes it and goes, spins it inverse with Victor Wembanyama or whoever the fuck it was closing in on him. He just spins it off the corner of the glass like it was fucking nothing. That was the good part. But the bad part is with an opportunity to give the Knicks a 5-point lead with 1.5 minutes left. How that ball sat on the rim felt like an eternity. It felt like the amount of time between the 94 finals and tonight. How that ball just went around, and it fell off the front. And you know every time, because the Knicks had 4 guys in the front court, you knew the moment the ball came off the floor, it was going to be at least 2 points at the other end, despite OG Anunoby's defense. A 5-point lead went down to 1 like this. I thought that and 1 that Victor Wembanyama got, and you haven't heard me complain about the referees I think once since I've been doing these videos, and it's not referees plural that I'm about to release some energy on, because Tony Brothers, to his credit, and he's not getting a lot of it from either side, Tony Brothers, to his credit, is the one consistent referee that when you know he has a game, you are going to have to require an EMT for him to blow the whistle. You're going to have to show broken bones or blood to get a whistle. And you even heard Richard Jefferson say, even I'm declaring there's too much physicality in this game. The problem is there's 3 referees on the floor. Tony Brothers is only one of them. And while his philosophy certainly trickled down to the others, these are crew chiefs in the finals. These are not Tony Brothers' guys. And one of the other guys is Tyler Ford. And Tyler Ford has a reputation himself. Real quick, just let me plug something that I did at the beginning of the playoffs. I know not all of you have SiriusXM or listen to my radio show during the day, but I had an interview with RJ Barrett before the playoffs began. And the question was about physicality enforcement in the playoffs versus the regular season. Can you please elaborate on the differences? And unsolicited, RJ Barrett told Antonio Daniels and I, listen, if it's a Tony Brothers game, all of us know in the locker room we're going to be able to get away with a lot more tonight. I didn't even say the Tony Brothers words, yet he still said it himself. So Tony Brothers has a reputation, and he was letting everything go. But Tyler Ford was not. And for Tyler Ford to blow that technical foul on Mitchell Robinson in the first half, okay, there was a shove and then a shove back by Wemby and then kind of a reshove by Mitchell Robinson. We're going to let that one go. For Tyler Ford to call an and one on Karl Anthony Towns, where he so much as puts his palm on Victor Wembanyama's waist in a game where dudes are Mortal Kombat fatalitying each other. I watched Scorpion uppercut Sub-Zero onto a bed of spikes, and Tony Brothers looked at it and said, incidental contact. Meanwhile, on the other end, Tyler Ford, with Cat trying to get out of the way, rules an and one that almost decided the game. That was so inconsistent with this game's physicality enforcement that it still, even in victory, upsets me. That's what was on my mind there. I'm thinking about the G League draft day trade, not the NBA draft day. The G League draft day trade by Leon Rose. Landry Shamet had just suffered a devastating shoulder injury. His rehab was going to be extensive. His NBA career in limbo. That day, Leon Rose trades up to the number 2 overall pick in the G League draft to secure the rights to Landry Shamet in the event that he was able to rehab, look right, and earn an opportunity again, that the Knicks would at least have his rights and first right of refusal on signing him to the roster. And how this guy is able to relocate on threes, catch and shoot, stretch the floor, finish. It's as if he's played in the finals before, which he has with the Phoenix Suns. I want a documentary on Leon Rose in the war room securing Landry Shamet's rights so that when he was finally healthy many, many, many months later, he ended up being what I would consider to be the most important role player on this team in an NBA Finals. And now we need to start having a conversation about what happened at the end of this game and the Victor Wembanyama performances thus far. Because I think that's why everyone wants to watch or wants to listen to this. The first half was nothing short of shocking. Oh, Shamet wasn't on that Suns team? You sure? Oh, he was on the year after? Okay, well, then he doesn't have finals experience. There you go. He's got playoff experience, but not finals experience, excuse me. Is that true? Wemby. Sorry, that Landry Shamet thing is distracting me. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt despite him only being 3 years into his career, 3 seasons into his career. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is so polished. He's going to be the best player in the world, if not already. And the experience he has against Team USA in the gold medal match final, Team France versus the United States at the Olympics. LeBron, KD, Steph, Embiid, Booker. That was a game of magnitude, which I would equate to the NBA Finals. And even in defeat, I remember walking away from watching that game as if this dude is going to be ready for the playoffs, man. He lived up to this moment already. That was an NBA Finals condensed into one game. For him to have the first 6 quarters of this series look the way that it did, and what is troubling about it to me, if I'm a Spurs fan, is against Oklahoma City, he always came back more aggressive after having a stinker or one of those games where he can never get to his comfort zone in the middle of the floor. I tried to preach this to you after game 1, but I consider every single defensive possession to be over if Wemby gets the ball between the elbows or at the nail. Because it doesn't even matter if he shoots or not. Your defense turns into a box and one against him. You have to send so much help to prevent him from either getting to the rim, putting the ball on the floor, or just shooting over the top, that he, in a triple threat position, can just determine at his discretion, how do you want it? Game 1, he's pushed out of the paint by Cat. He's pushed out of the paint by OG Anunoby, by Josh Hart. He's having to initiate offense from the free throw line extended. He's inefficient, and he doesn't have the same impact when he catches the ball in the coffin corner. And now you can all understand why the Denver Nuggets sent out a Bruce Brown or an Aaron Gordon to 3/4 front him. The Oklahoma City Thunder would send out Alex Caruso or Jay Will, or maybe even J Dub when he was healthy, to 3/4 front him, all with the intention of him receiving those entry passes away from the middle of the floor. And he knows it too. To see him almost acquiesce and borderline capitulate to defenses continuously being physical with him, shorter guys with lower centers of gravity, are turning into his kryptonite. Because if he catches the ball at the 3-point line, and OG Anunoby, who's still built like a brick shithouse, has the foot speed and physicality to be able to stay in front of him 25 feet away from the rim versus moving the decimal point to 2.5 feet away from the rim. These first 6 quarters of the series, now they've played 8, but the first 6 quarters, the New York Knicks have made that a priority, an initiative on defense, and they have executed it as realistically as well as you possibly can. But the hope is that Victor Wembanyama is so good and so dominant that he will still find a way to establish positioning there. And that just never really happened. Even in the second half when he scored, 22 points or something? I still never felt that he was changing the New York Knicks dynamic on defense so that the Knicks had to always collapse on top of him. It was going to require some special performances from De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper and some shooting from Champagnie and Devin Vassell, but it was never going to be a Wemby takeover. Mitchell Robinson, I tried to warn you all, and why we're rooting for the Spurs to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder because of the matchup problems that OKC always presented the Knicks in the last 2 years. But the Mitchell Robinson factor and how he doesn't have to jump to make Wemby feel uncomfortable, I thought was on full display tonight more than at any point in the first 6 quarters. He can hold his own. And that shit is contagious, man. As Cat is walking off the floor into the halftime locker room saying, he can't fuck with me. He can't fuck with me. And he's pointing back. We know exactly who he was talking about. Now, all of a sudden, the mentality is, you're not so bad. You're not so bad. I sound like Rocky Balboa looking at Clubber Lang right in the face. You're not so bad. Go ahead and hit me. That shit feels like a mosquito bite. You're itching me. You're going to make me sneeze. I thought those first 6 quarters were detrimental to the Spurs' chances in the way that the Knicks no longer were fearing him in the first half of tonight's game, like he is this henchman of a defender that will not only embarrass you, emasculate you, but hurt you on any dribble penetration, dribble drive. OG Anunoby challenged him several times in that first half. Didn't give a fuck if it's Wemby. Yes, he may have used his hip in the rim as a shield, but they were kept going at him, and so was Karl Anthony Towns, who has turned back into the bodega cat, no longer the hub of the offense. They need his scoring now, and they got it tonight. Preferably, the Knicks want to have Karl Anthony Towns receive the first pass of the flex offense, and then he gets to choose all the items from the menu of what we're cooking and eating tonight. That's how the Knicks have made it this far. But those catch and shoot threes that got the Knicks back into this game after the double-digit deficit in the first half, and then he starts going, when he sees one go in, now he starts going to the rim. He is so big, so physical, so skilled, so experienced. There is a reason why Anthony Edwards sat up on that podium after that series against the Phoenix Suns and said, stop asking me questions. This is who we are running our entire offense through. You need to talk to Cat. Y'all remember that? We go to the second half where Victor Wembanyama is starting to score some points. But I was really disappointed to see, after him storming into the locker room at the halftime buzzer, that the very first possession of the second half is an offensive rebound by Cat, where he knocks his hands down, gives him a little hip check, a little hip bump, gets a second chance opportunity, and puts back the most casual, pedestrian, and quite honestly, lackluster layup, lackadaisical layup that Victor Wembanyama is just sitting there watching, defeated. What the fuck has happened to you? Is what I thought right there. Now, to his credit, I thought he had a lot more initiative to his game going into the fourth quarter. But him not meeting the physicality of his opponent is a luxury that he had in the Western Conference Finals against Chet Holmgren, where he got to be the bully. But bullies get bullied, as a wise man once said that wore number 50 in the grindhouse. And I'm afraid to say that he's getting bullied right now. And we fast forward to the final sequence where Jalen Brunson misses the free throw. Spurs. Wait a second. Knicks are up by 1. Spurs are about to go out into the open floor. This is the part of the show where everyone in the chat is like, should have called a timeout, should have called a timeout. You always just pick the other way. You should have let them play it out. Why didn't you? You had an advantage. They most certainly had an advantage. But for Wemby to pass that ball to Steph Castle, to me, was more of no, that's unfair. I want to be careful with this next word because I was about to say it looked like an instinct, but I'm going to go with choice. And it wasn't choice because he didn't want the ball. NBA teams practice fast breaks all the time. Players have individual lanes that they're supposed to run no matter what the circumstances. And something tells me that Wemby has been coached, instructed, and trained to always give that ball up and not lead the break. And since Steph Castle is not being assigned as the primary ball handler, he also had a lane. And because there is so much chaos in that moment, I think Wemby just kind of thought, I know he's going to come back to the ball and turn his head because we've worked on this so many times, but the ball being halfway to Steph Castle's back, he probably realized that wasn't Dylan Harper, that wasn't De'Aaron Fox. And his head's not going to turn around. That is not on Steph Castle for running up the sideline. And that's the answer here. Because if it was Steph Castle's responsibility to go get the ball and set up the offense in that chaotic final 5 seconds, he would have gone to the middle of the floor, not up one of the corner lanes. Corner lane's responsibility is to go to the corner and prepare for a catch and shoot. Nico, I just saw a chat here where Nico said, Wemby just got interviewed about that. If someone can please copy and paste the transcribed answer to why he passed that basketball, something tells me it will support this point. I think the magnitude of the moment just got to him, and he, I will say, instinctually, because of all of his training, passed the ball to what he thought was going to be the primary ball handler. And that was the incorrect choice. And the Knicks got the ball back. Thank you, Nico, in the chat, who just paraphrased it and said, he basically said that mind reacts quicker than the body. Mind reacts quicker than the body. And what was the timestamp of when that play occurred? Let's make sure, because the other night I got a little flustered when I got the, it was Jalen Brunson who saved it to Mikal Bridges, tapped it back, but Mikal Bridges got the statistic for the offensive rebound. I went back and I checked that. Let's just make sure we get this right. I got it right here, people. Where is it? 9.5 seconds. Why is it not here? Oh, because this is the first quarter, dumbass. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Chad. I don't know where I would be without you tonight. Spurs timeout. Cornet. Okay, the Cornet rebound. This is off of Jalen Brunson's free throw miss, is at 8 seconds. Can someone, oh, here it is, 10-second mark. Do you guys mind if we watch this really quickly? I'm curious. Okay, tie game. Oh, man. Okay, one more time. So 104, 104. Oh, my God. Fucking ads. Oh, and the foul, too. My God. Just tilting out, man. I almost even forgot about the foul. Okay, good defense, close out, rebound. We're out of here. Okay, Castle does have his head turned around a little bit there at the start, but let's see when the pass is made, because Castle does look back. Right here? Yeah, I got it mixed up too. We're in this together. Fucking A. Castle's looking at Wemby right here. 12.6 seconds left. Let's just go ahead another frame. He's now in the act. I mean, I just clicked it, what, less than half a second? I clicked it half a second. Steph Castle looking behind him. He is running towards the sideline, but you can tell Wemby now is in the motion of passing the ball, and it's too late. He's picked up his dribble. So he looked back. But this has to be, is this Harrison Barnes down here? Where's the ball handler? Or is that De'Aaron Fox? Who is this? Oh, that's Fox. I swear to God. Okay. 12.8. Castle looking back. And you know what? Guys, look at the right side of your screen. Look at the very right side of your screen. You see that Jalen Brunson guy, number 11? Who leads the NBA in charges taken? Who took a couple of clutch ones tonight? Jalen Brunson. He is anticipating that coming to Steph Castle, and he is absolutely going to stand in the way like a bowling pin, and that is undoubtedly going to be a charge. So that's double trouble by Wemby here. Even if Steph Castle was looking back for the ball so he can get out and go, Brunson is taking a charge because look, guys, Castle can't see Brunson. He's running almost full speed out of the block. He can't see Brunson right here. That is a charge waiting to happen 100 times out of 100. Which makes this decision even more perplexing. But based on his answer, his reasoning that the mind sometimes acts quicker than the body is code for I fucked up. I fucked up. The ball's been picked up at 12.3 after 12.6. 0.3 of a second. Now, understand, people, we're watching this back on slow motion replay going frame by frame. We are not on the floor in this moment of chaos, 104, 12.3 seconds left. I don't mind Mitch Johnson saying, go, man, go. You got one of the best open court finishers in the world in Dylan Harper leading that break. You have Devin Vassell trailing. You have Victor Wembanyama against Mikal Bridges, Landry Shamet, and Jalen Brunson. I agree with Mitch Johnson here in going, go, no timeout. And he's only got one left, if I'm not mistaken. I can't see because of the play button at the bottom of the screen, but I'm going to assume he has one left. I think he messed up with his words, Jensen Howard. You bring up a good question. Wouldn't the body acting faster than the mind make more sense to explain what happened? Perhaps that's what he actually meant, but it was paraphrased in the chat here. So he could have actually said that, but I'm not obviously watching the press conference right now. So his decision fails in two aspects of basketball. Steph Castle is never the guy. The corner guy is never, ever. They teach you this in high school, in varsity. The corner, you never pass the ball to the corner guy during a fast break. You always look to the middle of the floor, if not keeping it yourself. You have a step on Karl Anthony Towns as well. You can slow down. You can stop, and you can put him on your hip. You can come to a full stop, and you know Cat's just going to barrel into you because despite all of his brilliance, that's what he does. Could have done that, but instead you chose to pass it to the wrong guy. And even if that shit is completed, it's going the other way. That's a complete fuck up right there. But it's something that he will learn and probably never do again now that he, too, has gone through this experience in basketball adversity. Okay. What else? What else? Chad. I don't even know where else to talk about. Deuce McBride with that grenade mid-range pull-up when the possession went to absolute dog shit. And the Knicks' patience on offense, man. That possession that they had in the first half, if we end up winning the title, I will remember a lot of things. But above all, this particular play. Watch how many times, son of a bitch, 4 separate dribble penetrations by Jalen Brunson, Landry Shamet, Mikal Bridges, hockey assist to OG Anunoby, all of which result in the Knicks not going to the rim because of the presence of Victor Wembanyama. The patience to continuously go downhill and press and have them close out and scramble. And it leads to you can't see it right now, but Mikal Bridges in the corner, wide open three at the shot clock death. Tell me this is not some of the most pure ethical hoops that you've seen, considering that Wemby would have had 1 block, 2 block. There's a 3rd block. Good luck ever finishing that. And it leads somehow to an open shot. And even more than the 3 points, people. Look how much the Wemby has to scramble and close out. Champagnie has to close out. Vassell, sluggish right there. They're fucking exhausted. This is supposed to be the younger team, the more agile and better endurance team. As they're one of the youngest starting lineups in NBA Finals history. And it's the Knicks who made them look a step slow. These are the equivalent of jabs to the liver in a boxing fight. Because of how much you have to scramble on defense, you may not feel it at the time. But if you accumulate enough of them, you are most certainly going to feel them in the championship rounds. And that affects your mind. So when we get an answer from Victor Wembanyama about his mind acting quicker than his body or whatever he said, it sure makes sense. When you are required to move all around this space continuously. And while all of these shots would have resulted in missed field goals, for these possessions to end in points, for the Knicks to get all of those offensive rebounds at the end of the 3rd quarter and the 4th, some of them didn't even count as offensive rebounds, by the way. Because they were technically 50-50 balls that turned into a loose ball because Mitchell Robinson is out there doing that thing he's done all year where he starts tapping and swiping, and then there's something on the floor, and the Knicks always find a way to come out with it. It doesn't even go into the box score as an offensive rebound, but your eyes will tell you that those hustle statistics were piling up on a very small San Antonio team that relies on their endurance advantages and speed on the perimeter. And they didn't have it here on the play that I've made you watch 100 times. And they most certainly didn't have it until it was desperation time in the 4th quarter. For the 2nd straight game, they have a massive comeback. It was a 9-0 run in game 1, 14, maybe even 15-0 tonight. So it's not that they ran out of gas, but that they have to go into such overdrive just to tie the game. And then you have to execute against that little demon wearing number 11 and that big bodega cat that can stretch the floors better than any big man on planet Earth. To me, tonight, the Spurs understood that they were behind on the scorecards. And unless they won rounds 9, 10, and 11, they would have to go for a knockout in round 12. And that was the comeback. But the problem is the scorecards were tied. How much do you have left in the tank to get to the finish line? I could make the same case about John Starks in 1994 when he goes 2 of 18 from the field. These possessions right here, where the Knicks extract every ounce of effort possible from their opponent, are detrimental to the long-term health of these teams. That has been apparent in 3 straight series. And I just love this possession so much because at any point, these 4 dribble penetrators could have challenged Wemby at the rim, put the pressure on the referees to make a decision, but they understood that no physicality was being whistled tonight. So we are going to continue to break down the defense and get an open look, the most efficient shot in the game of basketball today, the wide open corner 3 from a guy who led the league in volume out of the right corner in Mikal Bridges. Talk about executing, chemistry, and basketball telepathy is on full display in this one possession in the first half. but is a microcosm of how the Knicks offense has gotten to this point and what they have been capable of all year, which is why there's such a growing frustration amongst Knicks fans when this team looked apathetic, slow, disengaged. Do they even like each other? We know what's possible. This was always possible. Chat, I'd like to take a drink. Of course, cheers to all my fellow Knicks fans out there. Hopefully there's some of you still watching this. I know the chat has gone quiet because I've been doing a lot of preaching and yapping. Is there a particular play that you would like to ask about or inquire? And like Josh Hart goes from player of the game in game one. Did he score a single point tonight? He was in foul trouble. The Knicks' depth that they can handle someone like him going down with foul trouble, the injuries that they've had, they just don't miss a beat compared to the teams of past. Those top-heavy lineups could not afford anyone to get hurt or disqualified. Those and you can tell, like San Antonio trying to survive these Luke Kornet minutes. So with the exception of Kornet coming on the floor to rebound in the final for the free throw on Jalen Brunson's free throws, Luke Kornet in 6 out of 7 sequences in this series has resulted in the Spurs having a minus number in a pretty sizable one as well. -4 in just 90 seconds means you didn't score and the Knicks scored both times, both of their possessions. He had to come out immediately, and Wemby has to be subbed back in after 90 seconds when they're trying to get him a breather to run the entire fourth. Luke Kornet minutes went -4 when Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns weren't even on the floor together because Cat was in foul trouble with that tacky fourth foul from Tyler Ford. Don't even get me started. 2 quick fouls from Tyler Ford and I'm not even going to say. No Brunson, no Cat. And the Knicks go more than 3.5 game minutes in the black, not the red, the black, against those Luke Kornet minutes because they were trying to steal some there for Wemby. And how the Knicks bench of Mitchell Robinson, the Jordan Clarksons didn't play tonight, Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, you name it. How they are able to hold the line has been the difference in this series. The Knicks were able to erase a near double-digit deficit in game 1. Because of those Kornet minutes. They were able to build that 9-point lead in the fourth quarter of game 1 because of those Kornet minutes. And as San Antonio's perimeter defense tonight overextends, and it was pressure, man. It was pressure. They could barely get the ball across the half-court line there sometimes. That overextended pressure with all of those fleet-of-foot point-of-attack perimeter guys. The Knicks most certainly needed that depth if Brunson or Cat was not going to be on the floor. How did the Spurs not win those minutes? That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. We are at the point now that the non-Wemby minutes are approaching the non-Nikola Jokic minutes from 2 years ago, where they did Russell Westbrook. That's what this means, Russell Westbrook. Please save us, Russ. You start flipping coins like Harvey Dent and pray that Russell Westbrook can make a couple of his Tasmanian devil shots. San Antonio is, against the Knicks' second unit, is a complete and utter mismatch. Gerple24, I'm sorry, no more yapping from me. Gerple24 says, please talk about Mikal Bridges' legacy third quarter. When I was all emotional to start off this episode, nothing surprises me anymore. Did we forget that Mikal Bridges had 41 points Christmas Day against the San Antonio Spurs in his game of his New York Knicks career to that point? When he was left for dead after the hitch in his jumper, trading all of those first-round picks, being on the back page of the New York Post in not complimentary way, just goes out there and drops 41 points on your ass. No, it's not a legacy. This is just part of the legacy. This wasn't a legacy third quarter. This is what he does. He has been the Knicks' break glass in case of emergency offense for quite some time now. And because he got benched for Tyler Kolek in the fourth quarter of the NBA Cup, everyone's like, what have we done trading for this guy? You want to talk about professionalism where Tyler Kolek's taking your minutes in a game that was treated like a championship? How easy it would be to stomp your feet, slump your shoulders, pout, and say, yo, traded 5 first-round picks for me, and you're letting this little dude who was just with the Westchester Knicks earlier today take my minutes in a game of this magnitude? Have we ever thought that once about Mikal Bridges? All he does is hit back twice as hard. Bill Bailey in the chat says, Wobby should start going to the games now. Don't wait for the third win. So let me tell you a quick little story. And I don't want to get myself or some of my bosses in trouble. How much can I reveal? You guys know who's supposed to be in attendance for Game 3. The President of the United States. Security is so tight right now for this game that the NBA doesn't even know yet where they are allowed to have their broadcast partners enter the building, sit until the Secret Service approves it. Yours truly is trying to get credentialed through SiriusXM, who's a league partner, and I'll participate to my show. You know, the way that we do NBA Today, Give and Go, has been live on site. Not only have people not been credentialed yet, nobody knows where they're sitting or what they're doing. They're all waiting on the plans to be made official between Jim Dolan and Donald Trump. So everything is on complete lockdown. I told you if the Knicks get 3 wins, I will go to every single game for the rest of the series. And that is the plan. But my hope is that I can get credentialed to do some actual work while also enjoy. Many of you have seen that tickets are $10,000 to get in. Obstructed view seat right now. It's probably gone up since the final buzzer. $10,000 to get in the building. You can't even see the court just to be in the building. I'm not doing that. I'm going to find a way in one way or another, but I'm not paying that flat rate because there's no guarantee that the Knicks are going to win that night. So I will, and I also have to book an overnight flight to get back to New York. I live in Los Angeles, people. I can't just walk down the street. I don't live in FiDi anymore. It's a whole process of which I will tell you, I will at the very least be in New York for if the Knicks get to 3 wins. And in a weird way, it feels like an advantage for the San Antonio Spurs because they have, at this point, they have nothing to lose. We just lost 2 games at home. You got Trump courtside. You have these zombies about to create a sequel to World War Z where we're going to get to the hotel and they're going to start climbing our bus and banging their heads against the glass, trying to get in and eat our necks and infect us with whatever virus that they have. That's the prerogative of a zombie. Find a host to spread the virus to. What else can go wrong? We might as well just go out there and hoop. Meanwhile, the Knicks are going to be feeling the pressure of Secret Service standing courtside. The weight of the world of a team. This is now the equivalent of the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs. I know those droughts were longer in quantity of years, but considering that the Knicks are the one basketball team in New York, once again, Brooklyn is a New Jersey team, with the entire city unified behind them, it's only natural for a human being to be influenced by the overwhelming support, because this Knicks team has shown us they almost prefer to be thrown into the fire of adversity. I think we'd rather play on the road. They'll never say that publicly, but shit, I would feel more comfortable versus all these fucking zombies in the crowd. Yes, they're rooting for us, but I'm just not sure that always equates to like positivity. It would make me personally even more nervous. More chats, please. I'm out of beer. Mikal Bridges, super glue guy, does anything you need. The prototypical 3-and-D swingman that can also provide you just enough offense. How comfy did he look on that little fadeaway outside the block when that possession was going to hell in the fourth quarter? Just kind of turn around, boop. Victor Wembanyama closing out, boop. Just wanted to boop that nose, boop. Shadow in the Twitter chat says tickets are now $11,000. They've gone up. No way he's courtside. I beg to differ. 99 finals, he was courtside. 94 finals, he was behind the camera in Houston. I can go find that video right now. If I can do it in the next 30 seconds, you guys got to see this. This is one of my most underrated Donald Trump 1994 finals appearance. Yeah, I'm going to have to investigate. I can't. It's at the beginning of the fourth quarter when they come back from the TV timeout. Okay. Chopwood87 asks, have I had that wrist brace on for 3 years? I've had it on for 14 years. Now that I've calmed down a bit, Vito150 asks, Wob, what's your confidence level that we get this done? I got to see them win game 3 first before I'm all in. I'm sorry. I needed 58 minutes and 7 seconds to come back down to earth here. But that's the whole point of doing this show immediately after the final buzzers. You get the raw emotion and then understand that you're only halfway to your goal. There have been 2 teams in the past that have technically lost the first 2 games of the finals, but they weren't at home. That's the difference. I don't have any liquor left. BOB Games in the YouTube chat asks, can you please talk about Brunson? What do you want to hear? Brunson tonight, 7 of 25? 7 of 25? 5 steals? Hold on a second. What is this fucking box score? 7 of 25, 5 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds, 4 turn. I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain that. He hit the most important layup so casually. He made look so easy. He's standing underneath the rim facing the other way, and he just spins the shit off the side of the backboard and in with Victor Wembanyama closing. Five steals? Bro, Landry Shamet played 30 minutes. That's back-to-back 30-plus minute games from Landry Shamet. I'm telling you, the Leon Rose moving up to get him will be an MSG documentary one day. If they have the footage of the War Room, that will be a documentary. Tell me he's not the most important role player on the team right now after Josh Hart put up a 0-point performance. How many times did OG Anunoby meet Dylan Harper at the rim tonight defensively? How many times did he deter a downhill penetrator, Champagny, Vassell, and send them the other way? How big? I'm sorry to keep plugging the radio show during the day, but I know some of you listen to it. And on Wednesday, whatever game what that one day was, Wednesday. I had Sam Mitchell on because Antonio was on assignment at the game. And Sam Mitchell goes, "Wow, stop talking." He goes, "You're making great points, but just stop talking." Because Sam does a lot of work, obviously, still with the Toronto Raptors. And he was involved with the team when OG was there. And I'm telling you, Sam's like, "I'm telling you, this guy is even bigger in person than you think he is. He's like a legitimate 6'8", 6'9" with shoes on. And he's built like a brick. And he just never gets moved. And I think we take for granted his ability to just stop downhill momentum without fouling. The whole point of the trade with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley was to shore up the perimeter because Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose at the end of his career, all these guys couldn't stay in front of their own shadows. And the Knicks were conceding the worst 3-point percentage to their opponents in the NBA by far. Teams were just getting wide open step-in threes against them because the Knicks always had to send help with Mitchell Robinson, and then you just get open threes out of the corner as a result. And then OG came in and everything changed. While Brunson is responsible for creating the most amount of Knicks offense, I think the MVP, if the series ended today, would go to Karl Anthony Towns. We are talking about the best total rebounder in the NBA this season, the unanimous best shooting big man in the world outside of the arc, and a mentality that is very clearly contagious with the rest of the team, and how none of these guys fear Victor Wembanyama if Karl Anthony Towns doesn't first and foremost. Team leading plus 11 alongside, coincidentally, Jose Alvarado, who, guys, I know he goes 0 of 4 and he's at the bottom of the box score right now. But anyone that's been watching this Knicks team since the trade has identified that Jose has 2 purposes on this team. Defense, oh, I'm sorry, 3 purposes. Defense, catch and shoot if you're wide open from 3, but above all, dribble the basketball and get Karl Anthony Towns in an advantageous position to dump it to him. It's that simple. Jose Alvarado is breaking that full court press from San Antonio that really was daunting to the Knicks early. He's able to get Karl Anthony Towns the ball with more than 8 seconds left on the shot clock in a place that Cat can turn face and go triple threat. That's his job, and he'll never get the credit for it. But it's also not that easy to just, you think San Antonio wants to concede an entry pass to Cat down on the block against an Oompa Loompa behind him? They are pressuring the hell out of Jose Alvarado to prevent that from happening. So I don't even care, honestly, if he makes shots or not. His ability to table set as a traditional point guard for Karl Anthony Towns specifically, he's rarely looking for anyone else. How can I get Cat the ball? There is a reason why their minutes overlap so much. Jalen Brunson had a 4x5 game. Jalen Brunson had a 4x5 game, going 7 of 25 from the field. I'm getting another beer. You guys hang out for a second? I need another beer if we're going to keep doing this. It's Friday night. We earned it. Boy, am I going to get drunk tomorrow. I got a nice dinner planned. I'm going to be fucking drunk. I'm going to be drunk tonight. Should I just go get drunk tonight too? Why the fuck not? I'll be right back. Let's go for another 15, 20 minutes. Cheers, Knicks fans. Switching it up. My house is nice. Thank you. It's a one-bedroom apartment with an air mattress to my right. Thank you, though. I'm a simple person, man. I'm a minimalist. I love being a minimalist. I got to tell you, I went shopping. Mrs. Wobb took me shopping. Some of these stores like Alo, A-L-O, they sell T-shirts for $70. The same shirt that I'm wearing. Why do people pay $70 for this shit? Because of the brand and because it's comfortable and the material? I'm like, I got a 6-pack of these off of eBay for $10. Why the fuck would I pay $70 for this? I would never, even if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't do that shit. I just don't understand, like, nice people, like a nice car, a nice house. I understand the concept of nice things, but why did I even start talking about this? I like to spend my money on experiences more than material things, I guess. And then just invest the rest of it. Oh, that tastes good. What would we have been saying tonight? What would have been, how would this show would have gone if the Knicks lost that, if Victor Wembanyama makes that shot at the buzzer? How would the show have gone? What would we have, the Knicks blow the lead, but what would have been the big takeaway? Who failed for the Knicks on offense, or was it San Antonio's perimeter defense that just had a stranglehold of this team? Now, at the beginning of the third, the Knicks identified what the Spurs were doing, and Landry Shamet was cutting to the middle of the floor. Twice they got him on a back door before the extension of the double team and the second bodies being thrown at Jalen Brunson. They were able to beat them in the middle of the floor that way, because I felt like I was watching a soccer match where a team that's down by a goal, they say that the defense is stretched all the time and then they only have a couple of guys back. It felt like that to me. But because Victor Wembanyama's down there, they really started to press those Knicks ball handlers at the half-court line. The officiating would have gotten magnified. Thank you, Carly. I would have came in here pretty pissed off about Tyler Ford. Just, again, the Mitchell Robinson thing was soft, but he gave 2 cheap fouls to Cat. All right. That's still not enough for me to bitch about. But the soft pressing of the palm on a downhill Wemby on his hip that did not, like, obstruct him at all, that one would have pissed me off, because that was so inconsistent with the rest of the officiating that night, to the point that even Richard Jefferson was saying, this is too much. They're going to start fighting. That Jalen failed, that's a stretch. You see, your analysis of Jalen failed if the Knicks lose this is because he missed shots. This is my point, that there is such an expectation for Jalen Brunson because of how clutch and good he is. You expect that shit to go in all the time. And he still made a couple of those, but not all of them. That's the point that we're at right now. So I think the storyline would have been he didn't make enough hero ball shots to win the game and close out. The Spurs' perimeter defense was overwhelming. They created their own luck with some of the officiating. And then we move on to game 3, and the Knicks have to bounce back after giving away a 2-0 series lead. Jish, who was it? Fred VanVleet, who said Tyler Ford was terrible tonight and it led to a fine? Can someone look that up on Google? Tyler Ford was fucking awful tonight. Someone got fined for naming Tyler Ford specifically. And I know, well, again, I can't. I can't. I'm going to get myself into trouble. I was going to say I know things about Tyler Ford from players that I unfortunately cannot repeat, but things that Tyler Ford has said to them that has certainly built a reputation with the NBPA, the Players Association. Oh, Fred VanVleet called out Ben Taylor. That was Ben Taylor, not Tyler Ford. That's right. The players voted referees into tiers of how they wanted to assess their officiating, and Tyler Ford was a tier 3 ref with the players. And that's not because of his officiating skill. That's because of his attitude that has really rubbed some of the players the wrong way. He wouldn't be in the finals unless he was a skilled referee. I know. I'm not going to name the players, but I know a couple that hate Tyler Ford. Because the thing with Tony Brothers is he is your old uncle that's retired. He sits on the porch all day and he tells you about the war. Everyone knows you're not going to ever change Tony Brothers' mind, but he's at least going to be consistent with his no blood, no foul prison ball rules officiating. And don't ever try and tell me the way of the world, youngin, or you are kicked off the porch. Somebody in the chat just got to the eBay portion of the show. eBay. Yes. eBay's got great t-shirts, man. I have never once had someone come up to me and be like, "Why is your black shirt so shitty?" It's a fucking black shirt. Everyone, this is white guy uniform right here. Just wear all black with some nice shoes and a watch. It's the easiest way to have some fashion but not really stand out. This is what millennial white guys do. They put on all black. It's just simple. It can never be accused of being too aggressive. It's like business casual of happy hour. Bauer Power 1. Great comment. I'll mention again, Mitchell Robinson sinking 2 free throws during Hacker Robinson was a huge moment. It allowed the Knicks to play their real game plan after that. Let's discuss. Mitchell Robinson gets Hacker-Mitched at the appropriate time. It occurred with just a couple minutes more than 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter, if I'm not first quarter. Is it first quarter? I'm sorry. All of my callbacks have not been accurate tonight, but the Modelo is starting to kick in. He starts off 1 of 4, then he makes the next 2. And the San Antonio Spurs, to their credit, did not pull a Kenny Atkinson and put the Knicks in the bonus and also pull a Quinn Snyder. Jesus, not Quinn Snyder. Who's the head coach of the Hawks now? Didn't Quinn Snyder get fired? Who the fuck is the head coach of the Hawks? I'm sorry. Now you can see where my brain is right now. Who the fuck is the head coach of the Hawks? It is Quinn Snyder. I thought he got fired. Okay, thank you, Chad. I thought it was going crazy for a second. I know it wasn't Nate McMillan. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. Quinn Snyder fell for this too. And Joe Mazzulla, honestly, last year. You can't foul Mitchell Robinson when the Knicks are not in the bonus, because then you give them the bonus for free and they'll put Karl Anthony Towns back onto the floor. So I thought that was the one time to hack Mitch. But hack Mitch does not work. Can I please tell you? And you heard it was either Jefferson or Legler on the broadcast who brought up the reason why hack Mitch does not work. Because Mitchell Robinson is such a bad free throw shooter, there's a difference between DeAndre Jordan's missed free throws, which are like perfect form, and they're just off, and they come off the rim softly. Mitchell Robinson, when he winds up, everyone courtside is like, 4! Like, Doc, grenade! Shield your children, hide your children. Grenade is coming. If that ball hits you, you're going to be knocked unconscious. He, American Gladiator, launches that tennis ball gun shit at the rim. Someone in the chat brought that up last show. The arc on that thing, if you try and catch it, it'll break your fingers. You got a band of brothers when they, grenade! Ah! And they hide in the foxholes. When Mitchell Robinson winds up at the free throw line, I'm not trying to catch that rebound. Who the fuck is going to get that rebound instantly off the rim? It's always going to hit the floor. It comes off so sharply and with such ferocity that it becomes a 50-50 ball. So yes, he may miss 2 free throws, but good luck trying to retrieve the rebound against the bigger Knicks. In a way, it's Mitchell Robinson free throws become 50-50 second chance ops. So he may miss both, but there is no guarantee you're going to get the rebound. And then Carter Bryant ends up picking up like 3 or 4 fouls. You need Carter Bryant. Mike Breen tried to say he's not going to play that many minutes, so that's why he's being deployed. Who else is going to guard Cat down in the block when he's rebounding? Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes? Certainly not Luke Cornett because he's out there for Wemby. You need Carter Bryant. So then you have to pick someone to go out there and start fouling. The strategy, in my opinion, even if you get Mitchell Robinson to miss, and he didn't tonight, he made half of his free throws, which is above the season average. This strategy has never worked, ever. He's too bad of a free throw shooter. So he'll make half of them, and then the others, the Knicks get offensive rebounds from. And if you're smart enough to do it when the Knicks are already in the bonus before the intentional foul rule takes effect after the 2-minute mark in the quarter, they've tried it in 4 straight series. Honestly, they've tried it for 2.5 straight years, and no one has ever made the strategy work long term. You might get away with it once, maybe twice, but other than that, that strategy's got to be cut out if you're playing the Knicks. I agree. We're at the point now, I'm going Plumlee or Biyombo. I'm going Plumlee and Biyombo instead of Luke Cornett. Both. If I'm the Spurs. Cornett cannot be out there. The Knicks see him, and their vision turns red like the Terminators found John Connor. McGuire says that possession down the stretch where Bridges fumbled it without a shot can't happen. That was more because Jalen Brunson was in the corner of that possession, if we're talking about the same one. That's where Bridges was looking around, looking for a dribble handoff, and everyone was like, bro, you got to go. There's 6 seconds on the shot clock. I thought it was just kind of up to him, but he's in such catch and shoot mode right now that Mikal Bridges was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And he kind of got it stripped and fumbled. And oh, by the way, if we're on the topic of Mikal Bridges, one of the most important moments of this game was Steph Castle drawing some contact against him in the regular season, undoubtedly a foul on Mikal Bridges. Steph Castle's going vertical for a shot at the elbow. He doesn't get the call, so he flails his legs trying to draw attention, and when he lands, he rolls it on Mikal Bridges' foot, who's getting out of the way. Steph Castle was out for a majority of that fourth. as a result. And it was his on ball defense that was wreaking havoc on the Knicks, just trying to create offense in the first place. You guys saw that? I'm seeing some chats. He got hurt off of the flailing and embellishing. And I don't want to say that's a ball don't lie moment, because there was contact and it could have very easily been a foul. And also, this wasn't like a Shea or Trae Young or James Harden moment where it's just like an egregious, what are you doing, bro? I think he felt the contact and he was trying to get to the free throw line with legitimate reasoning. But by him flailing, he rolled his ankle. What am I supposed to do with this stream right now? I got 33,000 people in the Twitter stream. Still got a bunch of you over here on YouTube too. You going to let me go out tonight? I don't think I'm going out tonight. I cannot believe it's 2-0. I cannot believe it's 2-0. We are not there yet. I'm naturally worried, but I'm also coherently worried about Madison Square Garden being such a madhouse that it's actually going to backfire against us. Now, game 6 against the Boston Celtics last year was an equal madhouse, but it wasn't the finals. There wasn't this much at stake. Are there any Knicks fans in the chat still here? Just give me your elevator pitch. Give me before we sign off tonight. How are you feeling? Has this show helped you in any way? It's mostly been emotion, random thoughts, film analysis. This is Late Night with Wob at its best, where there's like 4 different versions of the same show within one. Drinks. Oh, there is a lot of you still here. Oh, I appreciate you guys letting me yap. I know, but your silence usually means you're just listening. Knicks in 4, Knicks all the way. Aura Bound says, I'm a Knicks fan. I always watch your post-game analyses. Appreciate that. I know some Knicks fans have been a little frustrated because I haven't been doing the canned version that you can watch in 9 or 10 minutes, but we've never been here before in the social media era. I think live show is most appropriate. There's so many people that want to share their thoughts, and I'm going to keep doing it this way. But if I go to New York, there's going to be, I don't think I'm going to have a cell phone signal with 10 million people surrounding Madison Square Garden. So if the Knicks get to 3 wins, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of the road, I think, for these shows. Is Tamir alive? That's a good question. Thanks, John. Appreciate the comment, the compliment. Dr. Rob says, I'm a Knicks fan because of you. Wow. One of the most impressive playoff runs I can remember. I think they can do it. Why are you a Knicks fan because of me? What did I do to trap you into this up until this season? That is not a compliment. That's like Stockholm syndrome. I appreciate that I have that influence with you, but I would love to hear more. Vito says, I feel good. I want you to keep up when things seem down in the regular season, but I feel like it's the opposite right now. That's a fair point. Most of you have my permission to be elated and happy. I have told you I am an outlier in trying to remain reserved and have these type of shows until the Knicks get the 3 wins, because I've been that close before. I know what it feels like. I've personally been 1 win away from the finals. And it fucking hurt. It's the whole reason why I am the way that I am today. Bauer Power says, I'm a diehard Thunder, but honorary lifelong Knicks fan for 1 week. I got to win game 3. Oh, okay. I understand. Zach says, this is the best post-game live stream. Thank you for that. Well, it is certainly authentic and raw. It may not be the most structured. It may not be the most eloquent or articulate, but you're getting something that Someone's put 30. I started going to games in 92. So I was, 5, 6 years old. So 6, 7 years old. And ever since I was watching Xavier McDaniel out there. 92. So that 92, 26 plus 8, 34 years of my life. We'll call it. Dedicated to following this team through the thick and thin. That's what makes it feel so good if we get there. But unfortunately, as many of you know, I've spoken about this a couple of times, that I'm a little different with my fandom in that the first one to me, because my teams all mostly sucked with the exception of Carolina basketball. If I just get the first one, nothing will ever be better than the first one. And I kind of just move on and graduate, like mentally. I send the kids off to college. And while I'll always be a Knicks fan the same way that I'm a Colts fan, a Peyton Manning fan, there's only 2 teams that I have left that I would consider myself really passionate about, the Knicks and the Mets. That once I send them off to college, I'm not going to be back doing the same stuff with the Knicks. I'm not going to be as engaged. Like, I will be retiring from being Worldwide Wob, the Knicks fan, forward-facing publicly, because I will have accomplished everything that I need to. And can honestly, just with the exception of the Mets, can probably die a happy man. It feels like there are shackles on, and when I'm finally able to get them off, that doesn't mean I want to continue to consume the product. You watching this may root for the Knicks forever, turn into a dynasty and all that, but nothing will be more special to me than that first championship, considering my entire life has been a dog chasing cars. When you finally catch the truck, what happens? Zach says, Wob, I remember talking to you a few times on Radio Roulette after losing to the Hawks. It's crazy how far that we've come. And that Hawks series had some special moments for the Knicks. It really put us back on the map. And it's all contributed to the feelings I think that a lot of fans have today. While that team wasn't incredibly talented, they certainly revived and resurrected a lot of why we were passionate about this franchise in the first place. And that had been missing for quite some time. Carmelo Anthony, Jeremy Lin sanity. Those were some really fun times and moments. But it was always missing that. It was missing this. "13 straight wins. Knicks haven't lost a playoff game in months, plural? Is it months? When did they lose to the Hawks that second game? Are the Atlanta Hawks just the second best team in the NBA? They got 2 wins against the Knicks. How did they get 2 wins? They're going to win the championship next year at this rate. Wolves fans in the chat. What's up, Wolves fan? Wants to see Cat get a ring. Absolutely. Welcome. Positive Nick says, I still can't believe what we are witnessing. I don't think I'll sleep until Monday. I'm so hyped. Deserved, my friend. If I go to game 3 and let's just say the Knicks sweep, I'm going to be catching a red eye because the difference is there's games on Monday and Wednesday. So if the Knicks go up 3-0, that means I need to be on a red eye Tuesday night back to New York. I'm going to land at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't usually sleep on planes, so I'm going to be operating on like 30 minutes to an hour of sleep. I'm going to have to go to Midtown Manhattan to do my Sirius XM radio show. Then I'm going to go to the Garden and watch the Knicks win, and then I'm going to be up all night partying and celebrating as I was in Cleveland in 2016 until the sun comes up. Honestly, until the point that I have to do my radio show the next day. So I'm looking at a red eye plus 2 nights of no sleep, which was a lot easier when I went to Cleveland and I was in my mid-20s. Kakao 1255 in the chat. Oh, by the way, isn't there a World Cup game during game 4 at Madison Square Garden, or game 4 or game 6 or something? Jesus. Kaka 1255 says, I hate that Wemby cares this much and this is not going to be easy when he loses. This is going to end up being the same thing that happened to LeBron James in 2007 when they got swept by the San Antonio Spurs. Tim Duncan walked into the locker room, whispered into his ear that you're next. Who's going to be that guy? Karl Anthony Towns walks into the locker room when Wemby's all emotional and upset, the same way that he was after losing the under-19 tournament to Chet Holmgren, losing Team USA versus Team France at the Olympics, losing the NBA Finals. Cat's going to walk in there and tell him you're next. And guess who was next? LeBron James. Guess who's next? Victor Wembanyama. Dirt C says, I'm a Bulls fan and this Knicks team has won me over. If it wasn't for the Knicks fans, which give other fan bases a reason to despise the Knicks, which I completely understand, I don't think there's anything unlikable about the actual team itself. Because even Jalen Brunson, who was being accused of some of that, foul baiting, that Shea and Trey and Harden, man, there has been some big time basketball played by him and everyone else on this roster that you can't help but appreciate. Now, if you want to hate it for the fans, like if you're a Heat fan, if you're a Nets fan, if you're jealous or petty, Celtics fan, Boston, New York, I would be right there with you. Hate watching, I don't want anything good to happen to these guys. I've been there. Totally get it. But the players, I have a feeling like, yeah, they kind of deserve it, but they'll never say that publicly. I am Stevie Ray says, doomed millennial mentalites unite. You get the show. Anyone that was alive for that series can relate, but I'm also not expecting Gen Z to be able to do so. So they're out there in the streets right now, probably burning the city down. There's going to be someone who's climbing. What's up, Fenton? I just saw your text. Fenton, if you're watching, I hope you have a beer. Fenton, text me. Are you one of those Celtics fans that can appreciate what you're watching from the Knicks, even though you don't want to root for them? I know you're one of them. You're a true hoop watcher originally. There's probably somebody, as I'm back on topic here, climbing the Empire State Building right now. And it's probably a Gen Z kid. And that's because they were not alive for the 90s. In this run, they have not even been through anything close to it with the exception of last year's conference finals. The Knicks never had a chance in 99 against the Spurs. They were banged up, Larry Johnson and Patrick Ewing. They never had a chance against the Indiana Pacers in the early 2010s, let alone the Miami Heat and the Heatles. This is the first time the Knicks fans truly have rallied around belief. I see you, Fen. What are you doing up so late? Posty Boy says, you have been the most coherent fan, Wob. That's why. Oh, I appreciate that. I mean, realistic. I got tired of being emotional about all the decisions that they made, and I am certainly guilty. Do not act like I am someone who's going to sit here and say, I told you so. I fucking told you so. We tried to tell you. Man, ain't no Knicks fan on earth sat here and believed in a franchise that had 20 years of precedent of liquidating draft assets to bring in veterans either at the end of their careers or overpaying in free agency or making a ridiculous trade for Carmelo Anthony when even he himself said, don't trade for me. Wait. Don't trade for me. Because you're going to have to gut the entire team to get it done. And then who am I playing with? I was someone who watched Jalen Duren get drafted by another team that was supposed to be the Knicks pick, and they had to trade it to create enough cap space to be able to go out and get Jalen Brunson in the first place. And then Jalen Duren was going out there. I know he struggled in this playoffs, but in Summer League, he's ripping people's heads off. And I'm sitting here, we traded him for a 6-foot point guard in the famous Wob photo of the head in the palms. I'm not going to sit here and say, told you so. That'd make me a hypocrite. But boy, have I learned to love. Best comment of the night. Laverne Slusher. What's up, Laverne? Your wrist brace will fly off when the Knicks win. like the genie at the end of Aladdin. Oh my God. What a fucking comment. Genie, Aladdin, free. Get those shackles off me. This will be me. R.I.P. Robin Williams. I want a repeat. I wish for a repeat. No way. I'm out of here. I'm going back to Portugal for the year. I'm going to go live in Portugal for 6 months. I'm free from the Knicks. I'm free. And they're going to be down there looking at me like, You want to talk about someone that's required to be impartial? Not me. How about Mike Breen? Knicks fan since he was 7 years old. If you were watching basketball for the first time, you would never know that Mike Breen is the play-by-play guy for the Knicks. There's no bias there like we saw in the World Series with the Dodgers guy. Has it hit me that this is happening? Not till game 3, but it did there for a couple minutes to start the show. I'm getting some late stragglers into the program tonight. You guys were doing what for the last 90 minutes? Just out there celebrating in the streets? Stumble up in here? That's why we run late. YouTube wants me to talk about these game 3 and 4 ticket prices. Let's take a look, shall we? What do we think it's up to? Let's take a look. 12. It's probably up to 12 by now. Knicks. Man, I used to have season tickets too. The amount of money I probably would have lost would have all been made up for in this one purchase, but continue. Oh my God. Okay, you can get some for, look at this shit. You can get obstructed view, or you could get 400 level for 9,784. I did. I'm not going to lie. When we had Ben Stiller on the show the other night, during the break, I was like, hey, Ben. I was like, hey, Ben. I know it's really difficult to give away these tickets right now, but if you just happen to have a seat next to you, feel free. I tried my best. Does my pick of Knicks in 6 change? No, I'll stick with it. I don't feel the need to change. The series is not over. I'm definitely on that boat for sure. This series is most certainly not over. And they may rally on the road the same way that the Knicks did in San Antonio. That is just one night of poker, yeah. One bad night. one night of PLO. I had a good night the other night. But I'm going to need the amount of money that I made the other night. I'm going to have to pay for a flight. It's probably going to be more than $1,000, I would think, day of flight. Am I going to have another beer? Yeah, I was going to go get one right now. But this is probably a good time to say goodbye, as we are an hour and 40 minutes into this. Cherry says, I'm a very salty Sixers fan. That's why I'm quiet. I grew up in Villanova, though, so those guys, happy for those guys, yeah. All right. My friends, this has been a fun show. There will be one more show at least, as I will not start traveling until till the Knicks have 3 wins. So if the Knicks lose or win game 3, I'll be back here with you. But until then, it's time for another beer. 2 away. 2 fucking wins away. See you guys on the timeline.